guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is season 13, episode 15. So let's get into it. So this is kind of like a spicy light, a light spicy corner, because I just want to talk about two little things that happened online that I saw this weekend and last weekend. So Tiffany Moon versus Anne Marie. I'm getting tired of that. Okay, I'm just letting you know I'm getting tired of that because I feel like we're reaching into a territory of where it is becoming nurse versus doctor. So we all know Anne Marie was on Watch What Happens Live, I think on January the 31st or maybe February the 1st. But she was on Watch What Happens Live. Tiffany didn't like what Anne Marie had to say when Andy asked a question about like the differences between the two professions, and she took to her Insta story and like was like, oh, she's making this a CRNA thing versus a doctor's thing, because Tiffany was Anne Marie was talking about like the anesthesiologist society or the American Anesthesiologist Society coming out against her, and Andy was also questioning why they came out solely after her, and so she had some things to say. Now I don't think it's wrong for Anne Marie to defend herself. I also don't think it's wrong for her to feel like they only came at me because I'm a nurse, because we do know that there is beef between nurses and doctors. We know it can be serious, and we know it can be very like petty and stupid. And so Tiffany took to her Instagram to like pretty much chastise Anne Marie for saying that. But I'm like, Tiffany is playing into that trope, because it's like, okay, Tiffany, she was asked how she felt, and that's how she feels. For you to think that like she does not have that right to say that as someone who is a nurse is giving that you don't think her opinion is valid because you're a doctor. So I think Tiffany, it's time for her to let it go and shut up before people start looking at her funny. And Anne Marie responded to her with her own little Insta story explaining what she was saying, as well as providing a link. So it's like Anne Marie does know what she is talking about in her profession, not other people's professions. But I feel like, especially when I read the comments are shifting in a way that in the beginning I felt like people had valid criticisms and critiques of Anne Marie, to now we get into y'all, like some of y'all just don't like black women and don't see value in black women being in the medical profession. Because I've seen some comment where I'm like, oh, you just want to call her the N-word. Just say it, okay? Because it's giving that. It's giving you want to call her the N-word, but you know the moment you do that, they're going to be on your you know what in these comments. So I'm going to taper my comments about her and her whole like thing until we get to the reunion. Because at this point, I don't want to be contributing to tearing down somebody's profession, because now it's starting to feel that way. And then the last thing I want to talk about is Crystal. So Crystal did a interview with a podcast called Housewives Nightcap, and the interviewer asked her about the whole child bride comment, and the reason why I'm only speaking about this is Crystal's like, well, I clapped back, and they bring up what she said online where she was like, the ways to have a healthy, successful marriage, and at the end it was like, don't rent diamonds, as a shot towards PK and Dorit when they were celebrating their anniversary. And I didn't have a problem with her clapping back online. My issue is it feels like Crystal only has something to say online. Like, you just clapping back on Twitter or on Instagram is not enough for me to want you to be on this show if you're not going to give them that heat or that fever in their face. I think that you're squandering the whole Housewives experience of it all. You know what I mean? Like, if you got something to say it to that lady's face. And they did speak about the reunion, and I think the comment did come up, but Crystal said Dorit didn't really have anything to say. Now, I would like to see, because I'm kind of surprised Dorit didn't have anything to say, but hey. But again, I do feel like Crystal needs to have the same energy in these women's faces. Waiting till like you get on the internet to say something is not enough for me. But let's get into this review. Y'all. So not much really happened this episode. We had the releasing of Merce's ashes, Erica and her attitude, and then Kyle and Dorit at the end. So let's start with the beginning. So we start off where we left off, where we have Sutton having a moment in her bedroom. Like, she's crying. Kyle is trying to console her. And she's just like, I don't even know why I'm feeling this way already. Like, we're not even there yet. And Sutton is saying, I'm just releasing everything. I'm letting go of like the 3 most important men in my life. And I'm just like, it's just a lot for me right about now. And you think about it, like, especially when she started to explain how these people were important to her, it makes sense. You have Merce, her dad, and then her husband, her ex-husband. That's a lot. A lot of people that played pivotal roles in your life leaving you at once, and you're trying to pick up the pieces and keep moving forward, And so, like, Kyle's like, okay, you're okay. We're going to get through this. And it's interesting because I'm looking at Kyle, look at Sutton, and I can tell in Kyle's eyes, she's like analyzing Sutton in a way of being like, damn, this could be my life. Like, I could be having these moments that Sutton is having once I decide whether or not I want to be with Mauricio or if we truly get a divorce. Because it's like she felt kind of cold in the way she was consoling Sutton, but she also was just kind of like looking at her. And it was like, look in a way of being like, yo, like I really could be looking at what my future is. So then we see Trevor pop up. He looking at Sutton like, girl, we already crying. We ain't even got to the port yet. We already crying. And so they end up dumping Merce's ashes in that box that she had. Mind you, Trevor was like, don't touch them with your hands. And I'm with Trevor. I was like, did Avi not pack Sutton any gloves? He was like, I'm gonna get you back from having me grab that stuff. So Kyle must have told everybody about what happened, because when Sutton and Trevor finally get into the room, I think Trevor got in there before her. All the girls were happy to see Trevor. They were like, oh, did your friends like us? They were like, yeah. Garcelle was like, did they like Erica? And he was like, oh no, they loved her. And Erica's like, ugh. But she's like, thank you. Like, she's taking it in stride. So Sutton gets into the room and everyone's like, you good? Like, you good? Like, you good? And everyone's like hugging on her, like, you good? So Kyle probably told him, girl, she having a moment in that bedroom. It's going to be one of them days. Just prepare your mind. So they all paddle into the Sprinter. Somehow they get on the topic of bears and otters. And like, I knew what it was, but like everybody else is like, what is that? I said, but then again, I have friends that are a part of the community. They're not bears and otters, but they're a part of the gay, the LGBTQIA community. So it's like, they have taught me things. I also got friends that read smut. Okay, read some of the smuttiest stuff, and they love them some BL drama. So like they be letting me in on stuff. So I was just like, y'all don't know what that is? Okay, but then Garcelle brings up her podcast. Didn't even know the lady had a podcast because she don't promote it, but she has a podcast. And I guess Andy was on her podcast and she asked Andy if he was a top and a bottom. By the way, I feel like that is so disrespectful to ask people, especially like us as straight people asking gay people, like, are you a top or a bottom? Cause it's like, how would you like if somebody like you like being tooted in the air, your booty in the air, or do you like being laid on your back? Like, I feel like that's what you ask. Like, especially if you're asking a woman, like you like reverse cowgirl, you're like a 16. Like, it's like, why are you asking these people that? Leave them people alone. But Andy said he was a top. I said, I don't know about that. But I was like, Andy gives verse energy. But I said, okay. And then their friend said that he was a blouse, like a feminine top. And I was like, oh, I've met a few of those guys before. So everyone was having a good time on the van. And they're all laughing and giggling and having a good time. And then they finally get to the area where they're going to dump Merce's ashes. And so they're walking. Garcelle and Kyle get distracted by the little trinkets on the side of the road, which I was just kind of like, y'all could just walk back. Y'all gonna have to walk past these people again. Just get to where you need to be. Like, that would irritate me. So they get to the port and Sutton is like visibly emotional. Trevor is like, being a good friend, holding her hand and rubbing her back. Excuse me. And then the ladies are all lined up. And Sutton just says, I want to, like, releasing Merce's ashes is a lot for me. It's my dad, my ex, and everything wrapped up in all and together. And it is sad because when you think about it, it's like Sutton is releasing a lot. A lot. Like, you have her letting go of her father, who took himself out, which is horrible when you think about how we know our parents are supposed to go before us, but you always want your parents to pass away like a nice way, like, in they sleep, after having a wonderful life, after reaching like 100, or, you don't want them to, pass away in like a car accident or any type of accident. You don't want somebody else to take them out. You also don't want them to do it themselves. And it is very hard to talk about someone taking their own life. And then you think about where Sutton grew up. Like, she is a white, probably a conservative woman who grew up in Savannah, Georgia. And like, it's just kind of like people with, it's like in some people's family, and I'm not saying her family, but I know in some people's family, especially Southern families, and let it be like a Southern rich white family, someone doing that to themselves is considered like a smudge or a stain on the family. Like, they talk about it in that type of way. And even in black families, like, you don't really talk about somebody doing that. If they do it, it's just kind of like, yeah, they passed away. You don't really acknowledge that, like, oh no, they did it to themselves. You know what I mean? They just be like, oh, and some people would just be like, oh, they accidentally did it. I don't think they meant to do what they did, when it's like, they probably did. So I think it's hard for anybody to talk about that topic, but it's messed up to me that her family just, like, they moved past it, which probably was weird as well, because it's like, we're not gonna talk about him not being here and how he's not here and why he's not here. That probably leads a lot, because it's like, you probably do want to talk to your mom about it. You probably want to talk to your siblings about it, but if everyone's kind of acting like, it didn't happen that way, then you feel crazy. And then you have her releasing Merce's ashes, and it's like, she probably loved that man like her father, because Merce made her feel like there was nothing wrong with her. Like, Sutton is weird, she is quirky, and she probably has felt oftentimes that people don't understand her, or that she needs to change things about herself. But when you meet somebody who makes you feel special, who also validates who you are, it is very, like, they're very impactful into you. They make you feel seen and all of those things. So to lose him is probably, like, that probably was definitely a blow, because it's like, I already felt like this guy, like, was probably like a pseudo father for me, and then now he's gone. So it's like, I lost two dads. And then you have her husband, and it seems like Sutton did not want to divorce that man. Like, because she told us, like, we separated. He agreed to it. I was going to go here. He was going to go here. And then we were going to go to counseling and try to find our way back to each other. So she pretty much still loved him and still wanted to work it out. And then bam, he was like, girl, I'm good on you. And like she said, she was consumed with anger. And it probably is very frustrating and very probably is angering to be like, I want to be with you. I want this to work. And then to have the person on the other side be like, no, I'm good. And it also is probably like a very, what's the word? It probably makes you feel like crap about yourself, because it's like, why aren't you trying to fight for me same way I'm trying to fight for you, type of thing. So she releases the ashes. When she did it, I knew it was going to blow back, because first of all, they're sitting there, like, the port is open, very beautiful, but the port is up here, and then it's like, you got the ocean going, girl, all that current and that wind. So she dumps it. It blows back. Everyone's running, and it hits what's her name? I think it hits Kyle. No, it hits Garcelle. Then it hits Kyle. And everyone's just like, girl, Merce's all over us. Merce's all over us. Sutton giggles because she said, Merce was known for his wonderful leaps. And he just leaped right over me and Trevor and hit the ladies in the face. I cackled. I thought it was funny. So then Sutton, because they all have these leis on that are flowers, like Spain's national flower, and they pretty much are taking the leis off and releasing whatever energy that they want to release. So first up is Garcelle. She gets emotional and she talks about wanting to release her loneliness, wanting to release like being so guarded with her heart, because she talks about her dad, her abandonment issues, because she talks about her dad leaving when she was like 3 and then coming back around when she was 14. And that's definitely gonna give you some abandonment issues, because I'm be like, where were you and why weren't you here? And then her situation with her husband and him cheating on her, and she felt like he was the love of her life. So it's just like she wants love, like romantic partnership, but she's not willing to settle. And she also realizes if that means I'm going to be lonely, then I just have to accept that and move forward. So she throws her lei. We then have Crystal. I don't understand why Crystal is so emotional with her brother moving to Thailand. I thought he was moving to China, but it seems like he's moving to Thailand. But I don't understand why it's so... like, why she's so emotional when we find out that Crystal has other siblings. Like, we find out that her sister is an anesthesiologist, like, in all her interviews. But all we've been hearing about is her brother. So is she not cool with her sister? Because we ain't never heard about that girl. And then it's also kind of like she's acting as if like this is her child going off to war. And I'm like, okay, girl, I have a sibling. Love my sister down. That's my ride or die, okay? But like if she moved away, I definitely would be sad. Like, I mean, we don't live in the same state now, but like if she went to another country, I would definitely be sad. But I don't think I would be breaking down in the way that Crystal would be. I would just be like, I would miss her, but I know she's gonna be living her life. So I feel like it's some codependency here, and she need to go therapy for that. So we then have Anne-Marie. She says she want a happier life. She ain't really say much, but she says she want a happier life. We then have Dorit talking about her PTSD and wanting to let go of, I guess, control. They flash back to her conversation with PK. I'm still surprised I was on PK's side, and I still am, because I feel like Dorit is mixing high maintenance with PTSD. But I also feel like if she truly had PTSD, I don't think that she would be able to, because the way Dorit acts, she acts like she can't be anywhere without security, but we're in a whole other country and we have yet to hear her say anything about PTSD until now. But last couple of episodes, you need to make sure you can lock all the doors. Okay. Then Erica talks about wanting to let go of the anger and the pain that she felt that the group caused her the past 2 years as she's been dealing with the whole Tom Girardi case and wanting to move forward with the ladies. Everybody kind of looking at her like, girl, what? Like a little taken aback by what she had to say. She ends up throwing the lei in the water and coming back to her post. And you got Garcelle in her confessional being like, girl, okay, Erica. It's deep, but it ain't that deep. Like, we get it. So Kyle ends up saying that she wants to let go of like being mad or being angry at herself, of letting go of the fact that she doesn't understand why Lorraine isn't here, and blaming herself for why she didn't see the signs, which I was like, dang, girl. I knew she was holding on to that, but I was just like, dang. To hear her say it, it was just like, dang. So she throws her lei in the water. She also talks about like her sister and all that stuff. They end up doing this really nice group hug, and then everyone just has like a really sweet moment. The ladies leave the port and they're all in the Sprinter, and Sutton lets them know that they're going flamenco dancing and that they actually were practicing the dancing and they were going to perform it for their last night at a restaurant. And we actually see flashbacks. They was not taking that mess seriously. You got them swinging the little sash around. You got them playing the whole bull thing like Toro. So I was like, oh, y'all about to look a mess. But they're all like, okay, Sutton. So they get home and they're starting to get their makeup and hair done. Excuse me. And Erica's getting her makeup and hair done, and her stylist is asking her like how she feeling, and Erica says, I kind of feel like a little bit of like a Krabby Patty right now because she was like, I feel like some of the ladies kind of feel funny about what I said when we did the release thing, and the makeup artist is like, what did you say? And she said, I said I was letting go of the hurt and the pain that I felt for the past 2 years that these ladies have caused me due to like the way they treated me with the whole case and stuff. And Erica is getting like visibly like irritated and kind of distraught. She also talks about in her confessional how she learned in therapy that her feelings are valid, but wanting people to validate your feelings oftentimes does not come. And my thing about Erica is I definitely think Erica feels as though that she's been victimized by Tom, by the ladies, by the media, by this whole entire situation. But it's like no one sees you truly as a victim. You know what I mean? Like what people see is a lady who was able to have a somewhat successful musical career and live this lavish and luxurious lifestyle off the backs of like deceased people, like dead people, and victims who needed that money in order to rebuild their own lives the same way you're trying to rebuild yours. So it's I think it was very hard for people to see her as one. Now, do I think that the media came down on her hard? Yes, but I also think that Erica's behavior contributed to it, because there were times where I'm like, Erica, and again, I'm gonna say it every time, girl, you should have just had a benefit concert. I've been telling y'all this. Girl should have just had a benefit concert with local gay and straight artists all of them perform together, made people buy like maybe $20 tickets or 15, maybe yeah, $20 or $25 tickets, had it at some arena in LA. I don't know if they got arenas. I know they got outside arenas in LA, but I don't know I ain't been to LA like that, so I don't know what's there like that. But some arena out there in LA or Beverly Hills charge, like I said, $20 to $25 a ticket for people for admissions to come to it, and then tell them that half, if not majority of the proceeds that they were getting once everyone got paid to be there was going to the victims. Girl, that would have changed public perception of you so much more. Like there will probably still be people that are like, no, but there will be some people that were like, okay, at least she's doing something. The behavior that Erica exhibited made people feel like she lacked compassion. So then it made people be like, okay, maybe she has something to do with it, or maybe she's just a horrible, selfish person. And the thing is, like, I don't fault Erica too much. Like, I fault her, but I don't fault her like overall, because I can understand feeling like everybody is coming at you, and everybody was coming at you, and you feeling like your back's up against the wall, and it's like your fight or flight response is either to run away and hide, or it is to fight and fight back hard. And Erica was fighting back hard because she felt like there was nobody in her corner. Like nobody had her back. So she felt like, okay, if no one's going to fight for me, I got to fight for me. So that's like a human response. So I'm not that mad or that like, it didn't make sense why she had that behavior. I just feel like there was a way she could have went about the whole entire thing where she would have came out better, in my opinion. But she said she was going to let it go. So we see the ladies pile in the Sprinter. They all look really nice in their red. While they're in the car, I think Anne-Marie asked Sutton about getting married again, and she said no. But she was like, I don't mind having a companion. Garcelle said the same thing. Like, I've worked too hard to where, like, I don't want anyone to take what I've worked for. I want all of my accolades and, like, the money and all that stuff to go to my sons. And Erica was like, well, I mean, you don't need to get married. You could just get somebody, y'all could just have a little friend that you have on the side and y'all get it in like that. And then they start talking about like signing documents. Kyle says she just signs everything. She don't read it. You got everybody on the car like, what you mean you don't read it? Anne-Marie was like, I let my business manager read it, which I don't think she got a business manager, to be honest. But maybe she do. Garcelle was like, yeah, girl, you supposed to read it. And then Kyle said something about a prenup. And they was like, girl, even with a prenup, you need to read it. And Sutton was like, yeah, Housewife 101. You read it no matter what. Erica even was like, there's nothing wrong with you trusting your husband until you can't trust him no more. And I'm even now, I was like, read it, girl. What you mean you don't read it, girl? I always read things. If I'm not gonna read it, I skim through it, But Kyle has too much money where she just can't send her documents to a lawyer that's like her own lawyer on retainer, and have that person read through it and then she signed it. But it's also crazy that she's like, Mo takes care of everything, He does her taxes, she does his taxes. She just be signing things. I said, girl, that don't make no sense. But I don't feel like Kyle. I feel like Kyle might be lying, because I'm like, he not there when you be doing these movies. So I definitely feel like, girl, you got somebody lawyer doing something. Are you trying to, because rumblings in the streets. They saying that Mauricio might be in trouble with the feds. Allegedly. They said something about him getting sued allegedly. And, that's what people are saying. Some people are saying that Kyle and Mauricio are trying to pull a Greg and Nene leaks, where, Greg was having tax and money issue. So that's why Nene really divorced him. And then when they got back together, once he got his tax up together, that's why they got remarried. And some people are starting to feel like maybe that's what Kyle and Mauricio are doing with all these like lawsuits that are supposedly out there. But I don't know. But it do kind of feel like she trying to be like, I just signed it, I don't read what's on there. But I was like, that still makes you liable, lady. Still makes you liable. You saw what happened to Teresa. Still makes you liable. Right, so they pull up to the flamenco restaurant. We see Malo. He takes them there. It's a really beautiful restaurant. The ladies are eating at the table. And then Anne-Marie brings up, like, what was everyone's favorite part of the trip? They go around speaking about it. When they get to Erica says something like, this was one of the most relaxing trips because, the last trip, and they bring up Aspen. When I tell you, girl, that was a wild episode. She was like, facts are facts. I don't care about anybody but me. And then when she was like, you will be made whole in the court of law, not public opinion. Like, Erica was pissed at them ladies. I think she all called them dumb, what. So she was mad that night. But she was just saying how it's been a rough 2 years. She also felt like she thought the ladies were going to support her more, and they didn't. And then Garcelle is talking about how she was just kind of like, she didn't know that Erica was this hurt by what they said, because she said from her point of view, we were asking you questions to get your side of the story, as well as we just wanted you to show some compassion towards the victims. Now, I'm kind of thinking this way, because, if you watch Real Housewives of Potomac, they had that situation where they were trying to get Candace to talk about her case that got dismissed between her and Michael, and she said, I don't think it's smart to talk about legal matters with friends or family on an open case. And maybe that's where Erica was coming from. Maybe she was just like, it's an open case and I'm not trying to incriminate myself. I don't know. Maybe I feel like maybe she should have just said something to the effect of like, I'm kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't. If I say something that's compassionate towards the victims, then people are going to automatically assume that I did something. And then if I don't say anything, people automatically assume that I did something. Or maybe like I said, her lawyers advised her, girl, keep your mouth shut, because they probably could use that in court. Like, if you didn't do anything, why were you so remorseful, or why are you so sad? Like, y'all know how cutthroat lawyers can be. So maybe that's why. But it didn't really help her for us not to see her be compassionate. Like, when they showed that clip of that girl said, I don't care about anybody but me. I was like, okay. She said, they will be made whole in the court of law, not in the court of public opinion. I said, girl, okay, Erica. Okay, girl. So then Sutton brings up about Erica's Las Vegas residency. And she kind of feeling a little bit something, because she was like, not all of us got invited, but we want to go and support you. And they're like, oh, okay. And Erica's like, oh, yeah, because then they show a clip of two showgirls with like a big, like, exaggerated ticket. And then I think they were at Kyle's house, because Erica was inviting Kyle, and they were just having like a moment. And Sutton was kind of like, well, in class, I was taught you give everybody something. But I'm like, Sutton, if y'all not good, y'all not good. But then Erica did bring up during the whole Broadway, her doing Chicago, Broadway. She was doing Perform in Chicago on Broadway. She Sutton was the one that got them a private plane to go to Chicago. Well, not Chicago, to go to New York. So it's like people have been supportive, and Erica was like, she wants the same amount of support from the ladies with that for this. So she was like, yes, I'm gonna invite everybody. We see them all get on stage and do the flamenco dancing and having a good time and actually enjoying themselves. So it's been a few days and they're all back home in California, and we see Dorit going to Kyle's house. Mind you, I want to know if they asked Dorit and Kyle about their friendship issues, because Dorit is giving very much, Kyle is my best friend. We're best friends. Why isn't she speaking to me? And Kyle is giving very much, who is we? You not my friend. We not that close. I said, God, lady. Like, so I said, Dorit, that's not your friend. The way you think she not your friend the way you think she your friend, girl. So they come over, Dorit comes over her house. Kyle and her start talking. And so now we're starting to get the information about, the issues between Mauricio and Kyle. Kyle, pretty much, what it boils down to is Mauricio is making the agency more of a priority than Kyle and the family, and that's bothering her, especially with the loss of Lorraine. She's just at this point where she was like, I feel fragile. She's like, I feel like everything is fragile. I'm more aware of my kids' emotions. I'm more aware of my husband's emotions. I'm just aware of everything, and I just feel like he drops everything for the agency. If someone calls him and is like, I need this is happening with the agency, he rushes to go and fix it. But when I'm telling him we're at a point in our marriage where I don't think if you don't engage with this, we're gonna, like, there's gonna be no more of us. It's like he doesn't have a sense of urgency. So we know Kyle is doing therapy, and Mauricio has now joined. And she was like, I don't know if it's helpful because they just started, but it just seems like Mauricio isn't making Kyle and their relationship a priority anymore, and it's bothering Kyle, especially with the loss of her friend Lorraine. But what I do find interesting is I think that whole saying, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it, is like, you don't know what you know until you know, kind of thing. Because I remember in the early seasons, Kyle was pushing Mauricio, the agency, and wanting to live the lifestyle that she saw Kathy and Kim living. And like she said, she got with Mauricio when he had nothing. So now you are able to live the life that you're living, be able to buy Birkins, to go shop and do all of this stuff, is because your husband is making all of this money. To now it's like he has this life, like we worked all the way, we both worked for you to get here, to now I don't feel like we are here together. Because it's fun when you're working together to get your business and your dream off the ground, but once it's there, it's like, okay, how do I maintain it? And maybe Mauricio is just, he's not doing a good job maintaining his family life, but he is doing a good job maintaining his his professional life. Because she also brings up about wanting to go on vacation and seeing how much vacation is a hassle. She also brings up, what else did she bring up? She also brings up like how she's more the one that is like, I don't like fighting, and we know that's because of like her mom and stuff, but like he wants to be peace all the time, but never really talk about the issues. So who knows? I don't know if they really gonna get a divorce. Like we talked about last time, her and Morgan not cool right now. So maybe something happened. Maybe they gonna get it together, but who truly knows? I wonder what they got to say at the reunion. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and definitely hop down in them comments below. Give me your thoughts. You know what I mean? Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and subscribe if you liked the video. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.